What it do, Jab Turkeys? Mare of Easttown, starring...
Kate Winslet and Evan Peters.
Now, I really have just seen Kate Winslet in Titanic, and she was a real girly girl. She was just like that, the poster of a princess type girl. Of course, she evolved in time with the character of Jack, of being a different girl. But this is not Kate Winslet that you would know from Titanic. She has learned how to spit like a man.
And spit like a man.
You know, she's definitely a no-nonsense type of chick in this show.
Yeah.
And this is an HBO Max original series with 7 episodes, I believe. 7 hour plus episodes.
Yeah, they're right at an hour.
It doesn't feel episodic. That's what I'm trying to say, I guess. So yeah, this is a murder mystery.
Yeah. Drama.
Based in a town of Easttown that's in Pennsylvania, I believe, right?
Yep.
And let me just say, this might be my favorite show of the year.
Definitely.
So far,
for sure.
Yeah, we've watched a couple shows this year that are great, but like this one right here, it surprised me. I watched the trailer and I was like, I do want to see that, but eventually I got to it later. We got to it later.
We didn't wait that long. I think we started
when it was like episode
week 3.
Yeah. So now you could binge watch it if you would like to,
yeah.
But we were watching it like episode by episode, which I preferred it. I haven't been this excited for a show since like WandaVision, where we were just like, oh, well, what are we thinking? Where's this going? Yeah. Like, this is one of those shows where you watch one episode, you're like, okay, I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And then after episode 2, you're like, oh, it's going to hit that reset button.
Yeah.
And every episode, if you think you got it figured out, you don't.
Nope.
The story is really about, there was this murder in this town. This little girl gets killed. She's found in the river. And there's so many suspects that could possibly be the reason this girl is murdered.
Yeah. And
it takes you down this crazy rabbit hole of who did it and how they did it and why did they do it and stuff like that. It gets crazy.
It does. And meanwhile, balancing, like, also Mare, who is the detective on that case.
Right.
Her life. And all the stuff that she's personally dealing with in herself and her family. And Kate Winslet just does an amazing job with this role. Like, she just really emits just something new, like you said, that we've just not really seen from her. And it's just, you can just feel it, like,
for sure.
You know, all the stuff that she's going through.
For sure. Hey, listen, Oscar buzz, you know,
sure.
anything that has something to do with awards.
Yeah.
If she's not nominated for it, I don't, they got it wrong.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm going to say about
for
that.
Sure.
But yeah, you're right. They not only do they focus on like this case of a murder, but they're also dealing with a missing case of girls as well
that have gone missing.
And then you have her family trauma that she's going through, because
right.
There's some deep stuff. There's suicide, there's murder, there's mental health, there's drug addiction, there's a lot of stuff in this divorce.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff going on in this town, and you feel like you're part of the town when you're meeting these characters. She's a cop that literally has grown up with these people, and she knows where these people live,
everyone knows everything about each other.
Oh yeah,
it's like
there's no secrets.
Very small.
No secrets in this town, baby.
And any secrets they're gonna let out at the funeral.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Very funny scene. There was a funeral. This lady died, and there was a coming to Jesus moment for a man, and he just wanted the husband of the lady. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah, and you just mentioned something too. It's not all dramatic. There's actually some funny parts in this show too.
And some of the characters are funny. Like her mom is funny.
But I like to talk about Evan Peters. Evan Peters was really good too. He didn't give us a Ralph Boner moment.
You're Ralph Boner?
This is the first time, like, every time I've seen Evan Peters, he's been like this jokey funny guy. He actually came to play when it came to like his dramatic portrayals, So I liked, he was still kind of funny, but I did like him switching it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think everybody came to play when it came to their acting, and this story was amazing. Some of the critical things we'll talk about though, like, I just said this was probably my favorite show of the year, but there was one gripe I had about this show. The mystery was great. It always had you on your feet, but there was like some type of love. They always wanted to put Mare, the main character, like a conflict of love, interest of two other people, and I just wasn't feeling that. Like, if you took that parts out of the show, it'd be the same show. I just didn't understand like why we had to have this side love story that really didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It was just, I don't know, that I felt like that was pointless. But other than that, that's just me reaching. What do you think?
I think that having done the original like love kind of side story thing that they did would have been fine if they had done everything that they did just the way that they did it and left out the other person, the second person that they brought in, because it just didn't make sense.
No,
it wasn't real. Like, you know, there wasn't really any sort of connection there romantically.
Nope.
So it was pointless.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just made it weird. Like when it happened, I was just like,
yeah.
What? Why? What? For what? But I think that the first one was beneficial just to see her doing something that's not her job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, seeing her life outside of her trying to figure out crime. And I liked there was a lot more side stories that I actually like. There was stuff with her daughter that I thought was actually interesting. There was stuff, she has a grandchild, and there's a situation where she has a grandchild and there's a fight between the mother of that child and that family of custody. That was interesting. You know, there's a lot of side stuff that you're like, you know what, if they continue to do the story, since we've gotten to know these characters, I wouldn't mind exploring a little bit of that more.
Yeah.
But that scene with the love stuff, I could have dealt without. But other than that, I thought it was all right.
My only other gripe, and this is also a gripe that you have.
What's that?
Is the fact that some of the consequences aren't realistic.
Yes.
So for some people they might be realistic, but for anyone that's related to that crime, they didn't get anything.
Oh yeah.
Which is just not how it would work in real life.
I'm speaking for black people. We know the law, and there was some things. Sometimes there was situations where people were guilty by association. Yeah. And they would have been in trouble in real life, and nothing happened. So I could see what you're saying by that. I'm like, no, you need to go to jail.
Yeah.
And it never happened. And
that's my only other thing.
And we're not spoiling nothing, because this is a series I feel like that you need to watch, because like I said, every episode you will go back to the drawing board and think that you have it figured out, and you really don't.
Everything that you're hearing us say, you're going to be like, when you watch the first like episode or two, you're going to be like, oh man, now I know that this person and this person and this person. No, you don't.
I changed my mind like 5 times watching
You have
this
no
show.
idea what's going to happen at the end.
You have no idea. It's
like a twist on top of a twist.
It's a twist on top of a twist. And then they gonna twist that up. It's
it's great. Yeah. It's wonderful.
You're gonna look like a damn pretzel when it's done. Seriously.
They did an amazing job writing it.
Absolutely.
And just and I know some people have said that they felt like it was like slow, like kind of a slow burn, but I didn't feel that way.
I didn't think it was crazy slow, honestly, but I think you needed some time to like process things so you can. Yeah, no, for sure. If you have time, seriously, and if you have HBO Max, we definitely recommend Mare of Easttown. Seriously. Yeah. Kate Winslet's back, baby. And yes. Amazing. And I love WandaVision, but I definitely prefer Evan Peters in this show over WandaVision. So, definitely the recommendation.
I prefer this show in general.
Oh, yeah.
Over WandaVision. Although WandaVision was good.
WandaVision was good. No, I'm not hating.
But I love this show.
But this right here is the show of the year for me so far. Yeah. So far. The year's not over. We're at the 6-month mark. You know, I could change my mind.
I'm sure
Loki's coming up.
That we need to watch.
Yeah. For sure.
Help keep your brother out the streets. Subscribe to my dad's YouTube channel. Love, peace, and chicken.